Alright, welcome to Madison area lakes. We're doing a spring muskie recap survey here. We've got our pike nets set out in locations that spawning muskie are likely to travel through, and we got a net full of muskies here. So had good catches with the weather turning warmer and the weather cooperating. So these are mature muskie that are looking for a place to spawn. Obviously there's some other fish in there too, northern pike, white bass, walleye. Spring is the time of year to lay eggs for fish, most fish.
So how do the nets work, Dave?
So the nets work because the fish are in that spawning mode and they're traveling along the shoreline. There's a curtain that comes out from the shore that we call the lead, and that lead leads them to the trap, and the trap comes out to this back end where they get stuck. They don't get entangled in the net like a gill net, so they're not hurt. They just get boxed in through a series of funnels, and then every day we come and check them. In most of our surveys, we work up all the fish, but this is actually just a survey looking at recaptured muskies that we pit tagged last year, so we can do a statistical estimate of how many muskies are in the lake. We know that if you start to get too many muskies in a lake, you can have some issues with growth of the muskies. It doesn't really affect the fish community as much as affects the growth rate of the muskies, so we try to keep the muskies at a medium to low level so they grow and provide that quality and trophy fishery that people are looking for. So once we get the net unloaded here, what we'll do is we'll measure the length of each muskie. We'll look for a fin clip that tells us maybe that we stocked it a certain year or is a certain strain of muskie, and then we'll scan it using what's called a pit tag reader. So that's, do you guys want to look at these pike too? That's a pretty dandy pike. Sure. A pit tag reader uses what's called RFID technology, or radio frequency identification. So we scan the fish with a special reader, and there's a chip in there that sends back a number. It's much better at staying on the fish than the old plastic floy tags that we would put on their backs. Everything else in here is other species, so that's all the muskies. But as you can see, all sorts of fish get trapped in these nets as they're coming in shallow. We've got northern pike, we've got yellow perch, even our friends the turtles like to go on them. All right, and that's all that was in the net. Everybody either in the tub or back in the lake. You wanna? Dave Rowe, Area Supervisor in Fisheries.
Dan Oley, Fish Biologist.
Alex Benz, Fisheries Technician.
All right, here we go. We're measuring up the muskies we just took out of our net. In this point, we're collecting the biological data that helps us make our management decisions about regulations and stocking and habitat.
Right female, 42.8.
Take a structure.
So now we're going to take an aging structure on the fin ray so we can tell how old it is.
Because fish grow just like trees, where they grow fast in the summer and slow in the winter. In their bones, they leave annual patterns of growth, and so we can take a cross section of that fin ray under a microscope and figure out how old that fish is.
Okay, now we're going to look for that pit tag. See if we've handled this fish before.
So what's a pit tag, Dan?
It's a little microchip similar to what the technology you use in your house cats or dogs. And this one does not have a tag, Alex.
So there's a tag on the bench right there if you want to zoom in.
That's a pit tag. And we're going to inject these fish so we can track them over time. See how old they are, how fast they grow, and where they've been potentially.
In the Madison chain, we have movement between Waubesa, Monona, and Wingra, and so we're tracking these fish to see what lakes they use so we know where to stock and where not to.
Pit tag number went in 989 001 005 542 920.
989-001-005-542-920.
Correct.
Wait.
All right, gross is 1040, so yeah, 8800.
Let's do a shallow release here so you guys can see them. And away she goes.
Safe and sound.
Yeah.
So one of the cool things with those pit tags is we have a partnership with a local muskie club, and they have several anglers, and the club owns several readers, so that when they're having an event, they can actually scan the fish too and tell us if they've recaptured one of the tagged fish or not. And we get a lot of good information from our angler recaps as well as our own recaps of these tagged fish.
So that was a generic process. We'll do this for all the fish that we catch today. Got a male, 39.7.
No structure needed.
Okay, looking for a pit tag. Recap. So this fish is we've already implanted him. We found his tag again.
One second.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yep.
So we'll be back throughout the morning giving you guys updates. DNR Fisheries crew getting some survey data, so stay tuned.
Hi there, we're back checking nets. We've got a pretty good walleye set here. I'm going to show you a couple things. The walleyes are up in the shallow spawning. You can see here we got a right female. We're letting all these fish go. I want to show you some of our tagging data, our tagging study. You can see some of these fish we handled last year have an individual Floyd tag, and it's got an individual number. So if you guys catch these fish, take a look on the back, clean off the algae. And it has an individual serial number. So this one is 162147. Contact information is on the boat launch for your local biologist. And that way we can tell year-to-year growth rates, where those fish have moved, and also get an idea of the harvest rates of these fish. So, nice walleyes here. Should be ready for you guys to catch in a couple weeks at the opener. Thanks for joining in, and good luck out there.